Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night to find your cat sitting at the foot of your bed, perfectly still, eyes wide, staring into the darkness? Or maybe you've noticed they've silently moved from the couch to your bedroom without making a single sound. Perhaps you've just felt their warmth beside you and suddenly felt a strange sense of peace and safety. Most people think cats are completely independent creatures, that they don't care where you are or what's happening to you, and that they just do their own thing at night. This is one of the most persistent myths about cats, and it's also one of the most incorrect. In this video, we're going to reveal 8 signs that your cat is actually guarding you while you sleep. The truth behind this behavior will make you see your feline companion in a whole new light. And that final point, it will shatter everything you thought you knew about cat coldness once and for all. But first, please hit the like button and subscribe to Cat Club. It really helps us out. Now, let's dive into what's actually happening in your home while you're dreaming. Number 8. Sleeping facing the door. If you think your cat chooses a sleeping spot at random, just looking for warmth, a soft cushion, or a patch of moonlight, look closer. Pay attention to exactly which way their face is pointed when they settle down. Cats that take on a guardian role in the home instinctively position themselves so their nose and ears are directed toward the entrance of the room, not toward the window, not the wall, and often not even toward you, but toward the door. This is the only point where an outside threat could emerge. This isn't just a coincidence or a search for comfort. It's a strategy, an ancient one, honed by millions of years of evolution and hardwired into their nervous system long before cats ever lived with humans. Unlike dogs, cats are solitary hunters. Their protective behavior isn't built on loud, aggressive reactions, but on absolute near-invisible control of the space. A cat never fully shuts off during sleep. Their nervous system continues to process sounds and scents in the background, which is why their physical position is so critical. Facing the door ensures minimum reaction time and maximum sensory coverage. If something enters, they'll sense it first, long before you even start to wake up. What's especially interesting is that this behavior doesn't depend on breed or size. It depends on the strength of the bond with the owner and how much the cat views you as their own, a part of their territory that must be protected. Watch your cat tonight. If their face is toward the door while they sleep, they're already on duty. They're just doing it so quietly you never noticed. Number 7. Following you between rooms. The nighttime version. Say you get up at 3 o'clock a.m. You try to be quiet, stepping carefully, keeping the lights off, heading to the kitchen for a glass of water. A few seconds later, you hear the faint, almost silent padding of paws on the floor. Your cat is already there. They're by your side, watching you calmly, making no demands, just being present. Most people chalk this up to curiosity, light sleeping, or the cat wanting a midnight snack. But if this happens every night, if they appear beside you, regardless of the time, regardless of whether there's food in their bowl, or whether your movement makes any sense, you're seeing a completely different pattern. At night, a cat views your home as a secured territory that must be monitored. This is their space, and your safety within it is their responsibility. When a member of the pride, that's you, moves outside the usual safe zone of the bed, it triggers a protective impulse. You've left the safety perimeter. You're in a dark, vulnerable part of the house. Therefore, you need an escort. Cats don't show affection as overtly as dogs. They don't wag tails or jump up to greet you in the hallway. This is why the nighttime escort is such a powerful signal. They aren't coming for pets or attention. They aren't hungry. They are following you because their instinct won't allow them to leave you alone in a dark, unmonitored space. The next time they show up next to you at 2 o'clock a.m. for no apparent reason, don't shoo them away. Look at them differently. It's not curiosity, it's protection. Number 6. Instant reaction to faint nighttime noises. You're lying in the dark. The house is perfectly still. You're drifting off to sleep when out of the corner of your eye, you see your cat bolt upright, swivel their ears, and lock their gaze on a specific point in the room. You listen closely. Nothing. Total silence. But your cat already knows something is there. and they're already deciding if it's worth your attention. A cat's hearing is one of the most advanced biological tools in the animal kingdom. They can detect frequencies from 48 Hz up to 85 kHz, a range completely inaccessible to humans and even dogs. Their ears can rotate 180 independently of each other, allowing them to pinpoint a sound's location with surgical precision. At night, when background noise fades and the house's acoustics change, this tool goes into overdrive. Your cat is literally scanning the acoustic space around you while you sleep, continuously and methodically. The most amazing part is that you rarely see the bulk of this work. They hear a rustle behind the wall, evaluate it in a split second, classify it as a mouse in the neighbor's apartment rather than a threat to you, and put their head back down. The whole process took 2 seconds. You slept right through it. This happens dozens of times a night without you ever realizing this analytical work is taking place. When a cat does decide to react by staring at the door, moving to the window, or letting out a low, warning growl, it means they've already filtered out 1,000 signals and identified this specific one as important. They don't panic over everything. They don't react to every floorboard creak. They serve as a silent analyst, alerting you only to what truly matters. It's a level of discipline a professional security guard would envy. Number 5. Sitting motionless in the doorway at 2:00 a.m. Maybe you've gotten up in the middle of the night and found your cat sitting right in the doorway, perfectly still, back straight, ears forward, staring into the dark hallway with such intense focus that it gave you chills. You didn't understand what it meant. It felt a little eerie, so you just went back to bed and tried not to think about it. Here's the truth about that moment. A doorway isn't just a path between rooms. It's a boundary, a strategic choke point. It's the only route someone or something would take to get from one part of the house to another. By taking up this position at night, your cat is physically controlling access to you. They are sitting between you and the rest of the house, between you and any potential threat that could emerge from the darkness. This isn't a random resting spot. It's a self-assigned post. The stillness of a cat in these moments is deceptive. It's not relaxation, it's peak concentration. When a cat freezes like that, they are intentionally minimizing their own noise to better perceive the environment. Every muscle is ready. Their breathing is shallow and nearly silent. Every sensor is pointed outward into the dark, into the silence, into the space they are monitoring for your sake. It's a hunter in high alert mode, but they aren't guarding prey. They're guarding you. This is what a voluntary night watch looks like. No fanfare, no words, just a silent vigil while you sleep. Number 4. The pre-sleep ritual. Have you noticed that before settling down for the night, your cat performs a whole routine? They walk around the room, sniff the corners, jump on the windowsill to look outside, climb down, sniff the threshold of the door, and circle the perimeter once more. Only after all that, as if reaching an internal decision, do they finally lie down. Most people think they're just looking for a comfortable spot, or that it's just another quirky cat habit. In reality, you're witnessing something far more meaningful. This is a full-scale perimeter check, a pre-leap inspection of the territory. Cats that take on the guardian role will conduct a sweep before resting, ensuring there are no strange scents, that nothing has changed since the last check, and that all entry points are secure. Only after confirming the environment meets their baseline of safety do they allow themselves to relax. This behavior is rooted in the wild. A solitary hunter always checks their territory before sleeping, because relaxation without verification is vulnerability. Pay attention to the sequence. It's almost always the same. First, the low points and corners where scents settle. Then the areas near windows and doors, the contact points with the outside world, and only at the very end do they come to the spot next to you. They check the whole house, and only after ensuring its safety do they allow themselves to rest. This isn't anxiety, it's a professional procedure they repeat every night for your peace of mind. Number 3. Sleeping at the perfect vantage point. Does your cat always sleep in the same spot? Maybe by the bedroom door, on the edge of the bed by your feet, or in the center of the room, but never in a dark corner, never facing a wall, and never somewhere without a view. You might think it's just their favorite spot, because it's warm or soft. But if you look at that spot from your cat's perspective, you'll see something else entirely. Cats with a strong protective instinct choose positions with the maximum field of vision. Spots where they can see the door, the window, and you all at once. This is called tactical positioning. One observation post, total control over the space. It requires minimum movement to gather maximum information. It's the same principle used by professional bodyguards and seasoned security experts, instinctively taking the position with the best view and the least vulnerability. What's truly impressive is how adaptive this behavior is. If you move your furniture, move to a new house, or stay in an unfamiliar place, a protective cat won't just look for a soft pillow. First, they will methodically scout the new space to find the new tactical sweet spot. It might take minutes or hours, but they will find it. They aren't attached to a specific rub. They are attached to a principle. I must see everything happening around you. Take a look at your room through your cat's eyes right now. Chances are, their favorite spot is the best lookout in the entire house. They didn't choose it by accident. They chose it because from there, they can watch over you and everything else. Number 2, where they are facing. Here's a detail almost no one notices. It's so subtle that even cat behaviorists rarely mention it, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. And every night after, you'll look at your cat differently. A cat guarding its owner sleeps in a way that their nose is pointed toward the potential source of a threat. The door, the window, or the hallway. Toward you and not toward the wall. At first glance, it seems like a minor detail, but there is a deep, specific logic behind it. A cat's nose is their primary sensory tool, tens of thousands of times more sensitive than a human's. Even in sleep, it operates in the background, constantly analyzing the air for scents, molecules, and the slightest chemical changes in the room. A cat instinctively points their nose toward the entry point to get a warning before any other sense even kicks in. It's an early detection system that runs while you're dead to the world. There's another layer to this. When a cat sleeps beside you, facing the door with their back to you, they are effectively shielding you with their body. They are creating a physical barrier between you and the entrance. It might seem symbolic for a 10lb creature, but it is entirely intentional. Tonight, try drawing an imaginary line from your cat's nose. Very likely, that line will point straight to a door or window. Check it for yourself. The result might surprise you. Number 1. A gentle wake up instead of chaos. We've reached the most important sign of all. This is the one most people either miss entirely or mistake for annoying behavior. A demand for breakfast or an accidental touch. This signal reveals more about your cat's character than everything else on this list combined, and it's the hardest behavior to explain away as just instinct. Your cat wakes you up, but not with a loud, piercing cry, even though their voice is more than capable of breaking the silence. Not by pouncing on your chest, even though that would be faster and easier. Not with panic, even though the instinct of alarm usually triggers chaotic action. Instead, they wake you up gently. A soft pat of a paw, no claws, almost tender. A quiet, barely audible purr right by your face. A nose pressed delicately against your cheek or hand. Sometimes, just their presence. They sit close and wait for you to sense them and wake up on your own. This is one of the most complex behavioral patterns a cat can show. Here's why it's so extraordinary. To wake a human this way, gently and without unnecessary stress, a cat has to balance several conflicting impulses. In the face of a perceived threat, their alarm instinct is screaming at them to act immediately and loudly, but they suppress that urge consciously because somewhere in that complex feline brain is an understanding. A sudden jarring wake-up will cause you stress. It will scare you, and they don't want to scare you. They want to warn you. This requires empathy. It requires self-control. It requires a level of understanding of another being that we usually think is unique to humans. A cat that wakes you this way isn't just following an algorithm. They are making a conscious decision on how to tell you there's a problem with minimal harm to your well-being. They are thinking about you, literally. And this happens because your cat watches over you all night, every night. While you sleep, they've cleared the perimeter, taken their tactical position, filtered out dozens of sounds, and made hundreds of small decisions. Also, your sleep remains undisturbed because that is the job they chose. No one asked them to. There is no reward. They do it simply because you are their person. Understanding your cat's nighttime behavior changes everything. They are no longer just a mysterious, unpredictable creature living by their own rules. They are a being that has voluntarily taken responsibility for your safety every night. No days off, no commands required, no expectation of a reward. Feline. Independence is not indifference. Behind it lies something else entirely, a quiet, humble, and completely real devotion. They might not show it during the day the way you'd expect, but at night, when the house goes still and you are at your most vulnerable, they are there, always on guard. The 8 signs we covered today aren't just coincidences. Behind each one is evolutionary logic, a protective mechanism, and a choice your cat makes over and over again for you. Now that you know this, you'll never look at them the same way again. But knowing the signs of protection is only half the story. It's just as important to understand what can break this fragile trust. What makes a cat feel uneasy, anxious, or unprotected right when they should be resting by your side and performing their silent,